Good afternoon, Professor Odhabi.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the invitation.
Pleasure to see you. Just adjusting the volume on your phone. It is indeed a very exciting session today. And there is a lot of euphoria around this session. And I'm so excited about this. So we have attendees who are pouring in, and we still have good 2 minutes before we officially start this masterclass. How is it going for you, sir?
Yes, great. It was raining the last 2 days here.
Oh,
Maybe
wonderful.
you have seen the news. It was very heavy rain and winds.
Yes.
And
This was an artificially induced rain, if I am correct.
I think it's a mix of.
Okay.
The country has a project to do that, but this
Okay.
one came more than I think what they expected.
Oh, wonderful.
It's
Such a
flood.
relief.
Yeah.
Such a relief
But
for UAE.
at least we have rain now in the
Yes,
country. Yeah.
that's so
Water
good
is
for people planning to travel. In fact, I was working with Professor Shireen from your university, and we were working on a
there.
boot camp. And she was also suggesting that typically June and July, and they're typically hot, but then see, things are changing. If you can expect rain in April, I mean,
Yeah.
things can really go well. And that really changes a lot of things. In fact, right now I'm in India. In India is also so hot, so we can understand. But then there are benefits.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
God's son is he's so generous to be shining upon us all the time.
As human, we always need more. Countries, they have rain, they complain. Every day it's raining, they don't want rain. Countries have sun, they complain. It's too hot, sun.
True.
Human is always demanding different from what they have.
So true.
Yeah.
In fact, I had one of the masterclass speakers yesterday, Dion Taylor from the UK. And of course, you understand UK is so gloomy and wet and cold most of the times. When they see sun, they start jumping. So that's of course the difference. Yes, you need what you don't have.
Yeah. And this is what great with your program, the boot camp you do, is to give the student the opportunity to experience other culture and also other weather and other environment people living in, which I think it's really great.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's the whole idea of international travel. That's what students should experience themselves. Okay, sir. So I think we have already a lot of people. The good news is that you had so many people registering for your masterclass. Everybody is so excited to know more about AI and chatbot and whatnot. We have been hearing about it, what OpenAI is doing, what others are doing. There's so many posts every day on LinkedIn and all social media channels. And students also keep seeing so many courses, masterclasses, blah, blah, blah. And we all wonder, hey, what is this AI and what is this ChatGPT and what are these other tools and can they really help us? I mean, we all have questions in our mind, and I'm sure we are going to get answers to all those questions in today's masterclass, and we are so excited to hear it from you. Before that, I'll quickly let the audience know what is the format of today's masterclass. A lot of them are new. So this masterclass, we'll have 90-minute session from Professor Odhabi. After that, we will have a 30 minutes Q&A. It could be 60 to 90 minutes, depending on whatever Professor Odhabi has on mind. And after that, we will have the interesting Q&A. How Q&A would work is you can actually type your questions in the chat. You can also raise your hands, so I can actually put you on the spotlight. And if you really want to show your video as well, you're free to do that. Otherwise, you can ask your question directly to Professor Odhabi. Apart from that, we would also have a little poll just to understand and get a few opinions about from people and all the attendees about today's session and a few other things in general. So I would like to make a formal introduction first of our esteemed guest today. I'm sure everybody can see my screen. This is Professor Hamad Odhabi he's the Vice Chancellor of Abu Dhabi University, one of the leading universities, one of the most prestigious universities in not only UAE, the entire Middle East, and also I would say the entire world. Their rankings, the QS rankings, all of the rankings, they are outstanding and amazing. And more than that, Professor Hamad Odhabi himself, he is what his colleagues. I've been also been associated with him through World Assessment Council and other organizations and initiatives. He is a very passionate person. He's a great teacher. He's a great administrator. I've come across so many activities. He's so active on LinkedIn, and that's what great leaders do. They spread what they learn. He's what I can see. He's tremendously passionate about the field of AI, data, and computing. He has a tremendous amount of experience in teaching and, like I said, in academic leadership both. He has so many accolades to his name. He also has the opportunity of having many academic roles, like he has been head of academic programs, associate director, executive dean. Now he's the vice chancellor, a very prominent person in the academic landscape of UAE. He's also a great proponent of technology. Whenever there is some technologies, anything new that comes up, he's the first probably to absorb in his own personal endeavors and then also pass it on to all his colleagues, students, and everybody that he's aware of. And which is why we thought that he is the best person, because he has actually done it himself, to talk about what is this AI, what are these AI tools, what is ChatGPT and whatnot, and how can it make students' life better. Students, the smart students who really use these tools in ways more. There are faculty members, there are teachers, there are administrators today, there are marketers, anybody and everybody who's involved. Everybody is using AI and tools. And those who are not, they're dicey. And this is what this masterclass is going to talk about. And the platform is all yours, Professor Odhabi. We're all ears. Let me know if you need any permissions from me to share your screen.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for those who joined. And your masterclass is a great initiative, which one of the things that I strongly believe in, and I try to do my best, spreading knowledge, experience, and getting the opportunity to meet with people and share with them this experience is great. We have something similar in Abu Dhabi University, I'm sure you're aware of it, called Investing in Our Community. So we run a series of workshops on different topics, and we have almost everyone in the university is part of it, from the Chancellor himself. He conducted two sessions, one on art and science of leadership, and the other one was on supervising PhD or being successful in your PhD program. And many others are doing that. This is great because we need to give back to the community and we need to be engaged with them. It's not only our educational programs, research, and whatever to do. And I really appreciate it. And thank you for taking that opportunity and inviting me to your session. We'll try in this session, I'll share screen to be more practical. We'll talk a little bit about the things that you heard about it. What is generative AI, how it can be used, what are the issues with it, and what the type of technology it's using, and stuff like that. But I'll try to get into some practical aspect that help you as a student or administrator or faculty to do your what you want to achieve from that. And we'll cover the technology as well. So I'll share my screen. I think seem to be fine. Let me just, you can see my slide, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so first, before I do that, I think I'm again very inspired and happy to see that Edorer is doing the international boot camp. which again, a great opportunity for students to experience other culture, get into programs and courses from experts in other universities. And we are working together, trying to achieve that. We have something similar in Abu Dhabi University. We call it Global Mobility Hub, which has the same concept, is inviting students to Abu Dhabi University to spend like summer program or winter program. We have different time of the year. And we're also sending our students abroad. And this is important. Now we are in a global world. We cannot just be on our own zone and our own place and do that. Now go back to the AI. The way I view AI is I would love to treat it like a person working for me, is a personal assistant that should be proficient in nearly everything, can make mistake, we'll come to that one, and available for me 24 hours. I want to think always what I want to give that personal assistant from my workload. What are the things that he or she can do to free me to think of some more advanced things and make better contribution there. So can AI get us there and do what we want to do? Of course, this is a journey. We are not at the end of the journey. We're just at the beginning of the journey. And you will see that there are areas, yes, it can help my life easy, make my life easy, free me time, make me do quality work. But there are areas it will not be able to do at the moment. But we will look at this. What I want to do, I'll give you around 15 minutes of the introductions of AI and generative AI, the concept. I think it's important to know that because you will start thinking of what are the limitations and where I can use that technology. That's only 15 minutes. Then we'll get into the more practical aspect of it and look at where we can use it in our study and research and in other things. And then we'll look at some advanced tools that I've been using to help us get the best of generative AI. Now, the title of the session is more talking about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is one example you will see there. So what is AI from the beginning? I think this is not something new to you. AI, the concept behind it, we wanted to mimic human intelligence. We wanted to do things that human can do. Now, this is a big ask from AI, and again, it needs to go through a journey to achieve that, because there are so many complex things in that one. In terms of technology, there are many things in that AI that make the AI what it is now, and the other technologies that come in the future. And you heard about those. Machine learning is how to make the machine learn from previous experience through something called supervised or tagged data and unsupervised and tagged data to do. There's the deep learning, which goes into more depth and multiple layers of learning. We will see that later. And these are using neural network that try to copy the way our brain work and using neurons and with some mathematical formulas. And then comes so many other technology. I don't want to waste your time with this, but these are the things. Now, in terms of the journey that we're talking about, it's really an old thing, AI. People started thinking of it from the Egypt and Chinese and Greece time, and they actually started to progress and make something in 1956. There's a conference was at Dartmouth conference, and a group of researchers came and formulated a belief that almost every aspect of learning that we do as human or related intelligence to that one can in principle be precisely described that a machine can be made to simulate it. I think at that time their thinking was more algorithm thinking of you describe it in step by step with conditions, with everything, then the machine will do that. And if you can get into that description details, it will do it. But in the reality, things are complex in life. You will not be able to describe everything to that level of details. And this is why I was not able to make huge progress at that time, but this is what was really a great vision and great way of looking at the futures. And then came in the 60s and 70s, started to see computers are able to help solving some algebra, proving some theorems, and doing some limited natural language processing, like getting into a chat with the machine with a very clear pathways and structures. Anyway, so there was some limited in that, and that was in 60 to 70. Then they had the time, what they call it, the winter period for AI, when research became limited because nobody wanted to give research grant. They don't see AI is really progressing fast enough, and it was a little bit difficult time for that. But despite of that, there are many things happen between the 80s and 90s that made really good progress with AI, including the machine learning algorithm and neural network being used widely in that area, and things started to progress. Now, when we came into 2022, ChatGPT made a huge shift there, made people to see real applications. They see how simple it is to get ChatGPT to write you an email or create you a table or do some basic analysis and can summarize a document and things like that. And when ChatGPT came into the pictures, you can see now everybody now talking about generative AI, and this now will accelerate. But we are still not in the level we need to be in as the vision, and you will see later. Okay, so these are in education where it can help. And we had some experience with this one, and some outcome came from that one, including personalized learning. There are now many platforms, including one we developed and others, that can ask the student number of questions and create a profile about the student, what he likes, what he doesn't like, and then create for him personalized content based on his need. For example, if you ask a student, what do you spend most of your time on it? One student can say, I spend most of the time playing a game, Fortnite or whatever to do. If that is his interest in or what he wants to be working on in the future, the content that the teacher gives him will be very generic. AI can generate for that student specific content based on that need of the student and make it more related to the student. This is from term of interest, but also the learning style, people who like maybe video, people who like to be more busy with applied learning, some would be like stories and case studies, all those things, there is the opportunity to do it there. And there's some success in that area. Also, automated grading, we will see it later. It can do that for the teacher. If the rubric is very clear, it can provide at least feedback, constructive feedback. I have to say not in every area, because the data ChatGPT and other generative AI trained on are very generic data, and they have issues now. You'll see later with copyright and access to publishers' data and stuff like that. So sometimes the data is not the best to do. But again, there's opportunity to train it on your own data. And I'll be showing you later. You can create a version of ChatGPT for your course that trained on your PowerPoint slide, on the examples the teacher gave you, and the answers will be coming from that, not from the generic one. And the grading will be based on that. So grading is one area. Intelligent tutoring is one, and that can be. And adaptive assessment, as you know, the assessment is maybe some of the things that the student get too much worried about the assessment to do. And some of the assessment, I have to say, are not effective assessment because they sometimes focus on maybe knowledge and certain skills and not adapted to the work that the student will be doing in the future or to the student learning as well. And there's opportunity to make those assessments more adaptive to the learning. Resources, of course, give you access, but again, they're limited. You can see if you get into the ChatGPT paid version, you will get access to something they call it GPT Explorer, which the publishers of the real work are having their apps connected there, and you can read directly from them. So you can find resources from the publishers of that. Engagement of student, it requires the faculty to be creative, to make it more fun. What we did, we created a gaming system based on AI. The idea behind it is to get the student to challenge other students by posting questions. The other student will answer it. It will be graded by AI. And then those who be higher in the grade, they can start questioning the others. And we notice it's creating some buzz there, but is that the only one? There's so many things you can do with the gaming or engagement of the student, making them part of the learning. It can help with that if it's carefully being done. This is an area of concern, an area of opportunity. We know AI, when the computer came, people would get worried saying, oh, computer will replace human. We discovered later it's created more jobs. Yes, it removed some jobs that really are not, doesn't require too much from human intellectual and thinking and intelligence, but it created other jobs to do. I think AI will do the same. There is a big risk of losing jobs. We cannot hide that one. But also there are opportunities if we get into the right area. I think that can be something to do. Efficiency, we can know it will increase efficiency because if you push to it processes or tasks that you don't want to waste time on it, it can do it for you. And there are so many systems around you can integrate with AI and they can automate day-to-day operation for you. Accessibility to some level, I have to say, AI is not free, as you know. You can access ChatGPT, the free one. It's good, it's useful, but there is a limit. If you want to do what you want to do, sometimes you'll find it's not able to do that. You need to pay that $20, $30, depend on which platform you are on. And some people cannot do it. In some countries, there are people who cannot do that and so you need a way to think how this can be accessible to do. But in terms of you have that money, you will have access to all those services that ChatGPT can give you. Okay, data analytics, it's now becoming, you don't need a data analyst for the normal things that we need. Like, for example, if I want to analyze my student grade. ChatGPT can help me with that, and we'll see. If I want to look out about enrollment trends and forecast those, if I have the data of the historical data, I can put it there and it can do this for me. So it simplified the data analytics for you.
Generative AI refers to a type of artificial intelligence that uses algorithms to generate new content or data, rather than simply classifying or analyzing existing content. Generative AI models are trained on large datasets and use complex mathematical techniques to learn patterns and relationships within the data. These models can then be used to generate new data that resembles the original dataset, but with some degree of variation and creativity.
I'm not sure if you heard that, because I was looking at optimizing, I think, audio, but I think
generative AI.
I don't want you to
generative AI
but basically, that all we spoke about AI. Now, if you get into the generative AI itself, which ChatGPT is a great example of that, but it's not the only one. We will see there are many others to do. ChatGPT is basically, it's a deep learning, machine learning platform that trained on huge of data and then fine-tuned in terms of applied some control in it to make sure there are things that it should not do. It should not answer, question should not answer, and the way to do it with that. And currently, these are the areas related to that. Generative AI consider is a narrow AI, which what does it mean? Designed to perform specific tasks. It can't do now specific tasks. It can summarize. Yes, the tasks are huge that can do, but they are all related to generating text in a certain way. And yes, it can create images using DALL-E to do, but it's limited to that type of images it can do. Sora is coming, and we know the video generation of OpenAI that create a video. That's a next level to do. But ChatGPT is example of this narrow AI, which amazing tool. It can do so many things to you, but it's still limited. It cannot think on its own. It doesn't understand or pretend to understand human intelligence, emotional intelligence, and those things. Sometimes you feel it does really understand, but it doesn't feel it. It's just try to pretend that one. The next one is the artificial general AI. They call it AGI. And that one is looking at performing any intellectual task that human can do. As human, we can think on our own. We don't need someone to prompt us to think. If I want now to start thinking of, what should I do to improve my student retention, nobody will just say, Hamad, do that. This is required. At the moment, ChatGPT requires someone to ask that question. Can those AI start now on their own think to do that? So that's human now has that ability to do without someone prompting them to do. And can they learn from their experience, from their knowledge? We can sometimes think ChatGPT learned from that, but that learning it requires lots of every time you train it. It doesn't learn it on its own. If you enter a chat, it will learn from that. You close that chat window and open it later, you will find it has nothing about that subject you've been talking about. You need to go again and train it again, unless you train a model, which we'll see later, and then that model you can use it. But it doesn't learn on its own the way it should. It doesn't understand emotional intelligence. So this is the one they're working on. Sam Altman said the next ChatGPT 5 will show some of that capability of being able to do that, and we're watching and see if that will come. I think that will be a big risk. We are worried about AI now. When we saw ChatGPT, what will happen if it starts thinking on its own and start learning from that and making new knowledge and doing things like that? We need to be ready for that. The next one is something beyond that, beyond even doing this. What is that? We don't know. But once it has that capability and access to the resources, and then the next one will come. This is the deep learning. This is neural network, where you have 3 layers. Layer 1, where you input the data. If you, for example, looking at an image, you create a portion of that image or pixels, and then you start using it as input, and then it goes into a process to recognize that image. And these neurons will be presenting numbers, that's probability numbers between 0 and 1, and then it works. The more the inside layer, the more complicated it is, the more deep is that learning. Here's an example.
Suppose we want the network
small video I created for you, just to see how
to differentiate between cats and dogs. We would train it with lots of pictures, each labeled as either a cat or a dog. Over time, the network learns to recognize patterns and features that distinguish cats from dogs, like the shape of ears, thighs, or fur pattern.
Yeah.
After sufficient training, when we give it a new picture, it can accurately tell whether it's a cat or a dog.
Yeah, and this is machine learning and deep learning combination. Neural network, of course, is the tool to do that. And ChatGPT and other models being trained this way, they have huge data, they have algorithms, they have parameters that they can handle, and then they train it on massive data, both label and not labeled data. Labels means you tell, this is a cat, learn it, it is a cat. And give another cat, this is a cat, and you do. You can do this in Office 365. The Microsoft, they have something called Power Automate. Within Power Automate, they have an AI, which you can start, for example, digitizing the invoices you receive. So you train it on multiple invoices. You say, this is the number here, this is the date, this is the total, and you train on so many invoices. In future, if you scan an invoice, it will grab all the data based on that training. The more data you train it on, the more powerful it becomes to do. Now, with all these things, AI bringing us in education, everything, it has a number of big issues. One is the bias and fairness. Now, this bias is not because of the AI itself, it's because of the data it was trained on it. I'll just give you an example. I come from Yemen. In Yemen, we have our the capital city called Sana'a. And Sana'a has beautiful architectures and buildings there. They are from thousands of years, and they are famous everywhere. They are in the UNESCO registers, everything to do that. So one day I went and asked ChatGPT to draw for me an image of my city. I come from a city called Hudaydah. It drew nice, the coast is nice, it understood that it's on the seaside, it's everything, but the buildings are from Sana'a architecture. Why? Because Sana'a architecture is well known, it's everywhere. So now it's became more, it's not because it wants to do that, because the data was trained on is from that side. So the thing you get from there, especially the political things and other things, might not be the thing that you should depend on. You should have your own thought, your own thing. And sometimes it can make a mistake. Mistakes because not understanding maybe your requirement, you didn't give them the right prompt to do that. And I hope I kept the prompt engineering video there. And or maybe because it not trained well on that area. You need also, if people should be transparent when they are using AI or taking people's data into AI. For example, if your system is using AI in the back end and taking the user input and doing that, you have to tell people your data will be used by AI, because people have a concern. There people don't want to do that for whatever reason. And it has also privacy and security issues, as we said there. Accountability of we are responsible if you use AI, like use an employee to work for you to do a task and he made a mistake. I am responsible for that mistake, not only him to do. So accountability is our responsibility. If we rely on it too much, of course, we will lose our ability to properly think and solve problem, which we should not do. And we should impact employability, or this book about it, and it's manipulated because of the data. Now, these are the tools there. ChatGPT has so many versions, as you know. There's the paid free version. There is the pro version, which you have to pay for it. There is the enterprise version, and it also has APIs version for developers to integrate. So ChatGPT is number of it. Copilot is Microsoft. It depends on OpenAI, because they have this, they invested 10 billions or something in the OpenAI. So in the back end, they're using OpenAI, generative AI, the GPT there. But Copilot, there are 7 different Copilot. Again, Microsoft want to confuse people. There's the free one, also on the browser. There's the one with Bing. There's the one with Office with 365. There's one with Windows. They are not the same. There are things focusing on finance, sales, and other things, but the number of that. Google has their Gemini, which used to be Bard, and again, number of version of Gemini to do, and Claude from Anthropic, the other tools now using it as well to integrate it, like Canva, they integrated there. You can go in Canva and say, create for me a PowerPoint presentation about this, or create for me a poster about this, or create a video as well. It does that. It will create for you some asset that you can use. Blackboard started using it to help the faculty generate content, create questions bank, and also structure or design their course. We used it in something we have called EduLearn, created by our student for the community, and it does grading student work, creating assignment, creating flashcard. Just you put the topic and description of that topic or learning outcome, it will create for the student number of things that he or she can integrate with. Now, these are the URLs if you want to know. ChatGPT is from OpenAI and chat.openai, and look at that one. Gemini is now on even your phone. If you have the Galaxy 24, you will have it there. I bought one, then I was disappointed. Not that much happy with that, but still has some useful things that you can use. The Copilot, you can get it from browsers, especially if you are a Mac, you need it. If you are a Windows, you will be using Bing anyway. And I tested all of them. The difference between those systems are the modality. ChatGPT version 4 can allow you to work with files, different format. You can have images put there, and you can do things. It's a very powerful to do. The Gemini is great as well, the same thing, and it can generate for you images and do things like that, but you have to go to the paid version of that, and it's integrated with Google One and Google Drive, so you can find and create files from your Google one, which was really very useful. The Copilot, the Office 365 one is powerful. So you can get it to summarize your team meetings and give you action plans on that one. You can create PowerPoint presentation from a file. You have a file there, say create from a PowerPoint, 20 slides, whatever. It will go and create with the images, with structures, with everything for you. And it does great thing. The cloud is the best thing about it is the programming side. It's better in algorithm and programming and coding. It's also careful with doing the I think where I am here. I think I'm back. Okay, so that's the architecture. I'm not going to do more of that. And then we have, if you look at drug design and drug treatment and things like that, there's lots of work there to look at it. The Copilot has, as you said, different version. One of it is finance to help you do finance forecast and do all those things. And the one for sales, they are specific for those areas. In the law, again, there's so many applications for AI in that area. Let's now get into our learning. As a student, how can I use generative AI to support my learning? We'll get into some examples here. One of it is sometime student find calculating the GPA and is a little bit complicated for them, although it's not, should not be. But if I am starting a semester, I'm taking now, say, 5 courses, my GPA was 2.5, I want to increase it to 0.6, and I'm taking these courses, what GPA I should get as average in each course to be able to achieve 2.6 at the end of the semester. So if you just put something like this, using its ability to do that, using mathematics and Python coding and some algorithm, it can be one useful use case. I'll look at it here. Just you'll jump and put that question there and say do it. Now it will go into the steps of breaking down how to do it for you. This is good. You are at least confident the calculation is right. So it will convert that GPA into points by multiplying the 2.5 by number of credits you finish to do. Then look at the target now. If you need 2.6, you need to have this number of points, and it does that for you. And at the end, it will tell you what you need to do in each course to get there. You could have gone in detail saying, I'm good in statistics, I can do this, in that I can do this, and then it will help you. This is starting just your semester to put a target for yourself, where you want to head and what should be your goal for each course. Of course, if you go into depth and say, give me advices to get this GPA in this course, it will advise you on study plans, resources maybe you need to do, and things like that. So here it came that we need an average 3.13 in the courses. So we need a B or B plus. That's your focus. Get B or B plus in every course, you will get the 2.6 that you need. Of course, that depends on the grading system in your institution. Maybe you need to provide that information as well. And this is important point because your prompt require context, and the context are the data that the AI will use to come with the solution. If your grading system, like you come from another system, I think Germany is the opposite system. It becomes less, it becomes better. In UK, we have that system. US is one system. Sometimes the range of this A and B and C are not the same in every institution. So that data, if you provide it, you will get more accurate outcome. Let's have another one. So I'm enrolled in an MBA program. Could you help me set my goals for this year? Just a general one, but if you can be more specific on that one. And it will tell you what are the areas that you need to focus on it, but the goal, it should be your goal. You should be the one who set those goals for your year. So now it will come to you with some advices. There are a number of areas that you need to focus, of course, academic excellence, your GPA, you need to improve it. You decide what you want to improve in that one. Your personal development, the areas that you need, you know where area you need to do, but that's this, the skills enhancement you need to do. These are the areas general that you need to do, and giving you advice to do it, but you are the one who should do it. If you get the AI to do it for you, become a little difficult. Now, if I say put it in a table for me, so I better understand table format, now it will put all those categories and the goals in that table. So I can now add another column with some actions that I can take to help me achieve those goals. Now the table is there, I can now add to it or remove it. So let's do that. Add a column of initiatives, okay, that I can take to meet my goals, yeah? So if I ask that question, now it will add. Now, you see it now, this table, you can manipulate it and expand it and get it. And this ability of doing these things, it saves you time. That's something that, at the end, those initiatives, you should be your own initiative that you know you can achieve it. They are timely, they are smart, whatever we call them, and they are the right thing you need to do. But at least now you have areas that, like a brainstorming for you, these are the areas that you need to consider here. And that's a useful thing if you do at the beginning of the semester. Think of what you really need to do at that semester. So that's one thing, use case. The other one is explain the relationship between the three. I'm doing 3 courses now. How these 3 courses work together. This is sometimes students struggle with understanding why we need these 3 courses, what this course do. Okay, I'm doing this course and this assignment and quizzes and everything, but how this is related to the other course? I'm doing accounting, there's financial, there's what a difference between it. If you ask for some clarification like this, it can give you some good explanation of this. So you can use it to better understand your courses. You can go in depth and say, okay, how I'm going to use this course at the workplace? What sort of task I'll be giving or projects at the workplace that this course will support me on. The student, sometimes they lack that connection between the work and what they're busy with every day in the class. And use the tool to help you with that. It trained on a huge data. It knows so many job description. It knows so many skills, standards, and things there. So it can give you those connections. Of course, you can then speak to your faculty to better understand it to do. But this is an area, it can help you understand those connections between your courses. I hope I'm okay with the time. Okay, there's other one here. Now, I'm enrolled in the following MBA courses this semester. Please develop a plan to integrate these courses through industry project. Now, sometimes you think this is maybe responsibility of the faculty who are teaching this course. They can sit together and say, okay, let's integrate these courses and help students understand. But for your learning, you need to know how these three will maybe help you with that. So if you use a prompt like this one, it will give you ideas how they are related in terms of projects that you will be doing at work in the future. Okay. Now we're using ChatGPT here, but we'll maybe look at others. These are things to do. Now, this is an industry project, came with some objectives, is to develop comprehensive understanding or whatever, and then I looked at the learning integration, the areas that integrated, industry project development, and how each course will contribute to that one, and industry engagement. And you can see now, if you read this one, how these three courses are working together to help give you the knowledge, the skills, competencies that can help you at the work place to do. Okay, so went up again. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, sometimes students get worried about quizzes and exam and case studies that the teacher will give me. Why I should wait until I study subject first, and then why don't I ask ChatGPT to create a quiz for me? If the faculty, most likely the faculty has told me what the learning outcome need to be included in the quiz, topics that will be in the quiz, and type of maybe questions if he does that one. But I can ask it to generate so many quiz for me. I will answer those quiz, give it to ChatGPT or to grade it and see how that I'm prepared or not prepared. And it will give me feedback, say, oh, this area you're good. So if I ask it to create a quiz for me, it will create a quiz for me. I can specify the quiz based on the course syllabi. What that course syllabi usually has all those learning outcome and topics to do. And you will get now, it's coming to you with this multiple choice question. These are the questions related to this one, and that the correct answer. You should say, don't give me the correct answer, because you can try it yourself. It will not give you the correct answer. Then you can give the answers later yourself. There's one use case you can say to it, act as a faculty who teaching managerial finance, for example, something like that. And it will start explaining things and start also questioning you and grading your answers and providing feedback. So that's sort of a quiz that you can ask it to do. There are many things. You can get it to generate summary of latest research. But I have to say here, ChatGPT on its own is not good for citation. It's bad. It can give you wrong information. I'll be showing you other tools that use ChatGPT or generative AI or GPT to make it use data from the publishers, not from anywhere. But it can summarize for your research on certain area. If you can say, well, what is the climate impact? We just had the rain and things happening in UAE, very heavy rain happening. I can go to one of the research, which I will show you later, that can answer this question. You can ask it to explain the process of anything, developing a strategy in the way suitable for a new manager or things like that. So many of this, solve mathematical equations you have, and it will do that. And especially if you use the right plugin, which we will look at it like Wolfram Alpha and other tools, it will solve very complicated mathematical equations. You can get it to to do some Python code for you, tutorials. You can learn any programming language and step by step with examples that may be an area that you understand. You can do all this for you. Now we will move to the app. If you download the OpenAI or ChatGPT app on your phone, it has additional thing. But make sure that when you get it, get the one that says by OpenAI. Yeah, there's so many ChatGPT on the stores, Apple or Android, but some of them are third party using in the back end AI. They're not the official one. The official one is this one that says by OpenAI. And I would recommend this one. And there are a number of use cases that will help you with your learning. Let me give you one. If you get in a lab and you can see some equipments there in the lab, you can just open the camera of that phone, take a picture of it, and say, explain what is this. It will tell you this equipment is this, that. Even if there is no label, sometimes it will do, but if there is well-known brand of that equipment, then you can follow up with that one, how to operate it, what are some of experiment I can do with it. This tool become in your hand to get you to do many things. Also, it can give you some ideas. Like here, I took a picture of these 2 bottles of water, and I said, what physics experiment I can make using these 2 bottles of water? And started giving me a number of ideas that I can use this 2 bottles of water to do that, to run a physics experiment, like reflections of light, can empty one and keep one with water and look at the reflection with density as well. So this tool in your hand that you can use to think of things you need maybe you can learn and explore. Seeing any object around, then you can scan it and ask questions about it, and it will give you that. The other one and useful use case I use a lot in conferences. When you go in a conference, someone will present a very complicated slide, very useful, but in just looking at that slide for maybe 2-3 minutes, he will be showing that slide. I may not be able to capture and understand what that slide is about. I can take a picture of that slide. And again, I do it a lot in the conference and say, explain this one. So let's show you one example of one here. There is a video on YouTube about quantum computing by a professor from MIT. That if you just look at that one, so many equations there and very complicated looks. Take just a picture of that one and say now, explain this or summarize this, or what does X, Y, Z in that one means. And now it will do that. I did this in one conference with someone came, I think from Scopus, gave a workshop on how faculty can improve the impact of the research. And he did amazing workshop with so many slides. I just took every one of it and said, explain. And then I said, write for me recommendation for faculty to do. And wrote very beautiful recommendation, which I shared with the presenter. He said, this is perfect. So I sent it to the faculty, said, this is the recommendation from that one. So you can use this tool to help you while you study. You are in the lecture and you want to get things to be explained to you. The conversation is one useful thing on that app. It's like Siri, but it's different. The level is different. You feel you're more speaking to a human, and you can engage in conversation. I think for English language, for other things, is useful. For me, I use it when I want to think of brainstorm something. Sometimes I am walking or on the road or something. I find it very useful. I've been asked at some time to be part of an interview on CNBC Arabia. It's an Arabic version. They were talking about Sam Altman, when the board kicked him out from the company, and he went to Microsoft and came back, and what happened, and they said, want you to talk about this one. Of course, I read about it, I heard, but I didn't get enough. So I went into conversation with the ChatGPT. The good thing, version 4 can search the net and find you the latest information. And through that conversation and question and answers, and from me, from him, on that, it became, I had some good pictures in addition to reading and doing other aspect of that. So you can get into some conversation with that one. As we said, now it's connected to the net. It's not like before. I do that. Summarizing, if it's in audio or it is in a text, you can do that. The Copilot is amazing with Microsoft Teams, but if you don't have Copilot, you still can use the dictations and then put it there. Again, with the privacy, you need to make sure you're not putting any privacy data, like, for example, people names, their ID, phone numbers, things like that. You need to clean it and maybe replace it all by X, Y, Z, whatever you want to do before putting it. Unless you are using enterprise version, which connected with your company. The enterprise, they will ensure that your data was not used for the training, and they will give you that insurance. Okay, now note summarization is a thing we've been. Feedback on assessment, we use this into our system, and I think in areas related to technology like coding, programming, database, those IT related, it gives amazing constructive feedback. I teach programming, object-oriented programming. I teach only one course. And I'm using this there, so a student can add their answers. They cannot copy paste. That's something I need to do. But now they can copy and paste. But when they do it, the system will give me indication if this is used by created by ChatGPT or other thing. But when they give the answer, it goes into their answers and give them constructive feedback, saying, "Oh, your code structure was not right. You missed the variable name is not following the naming convention. This formula is not right. You missed to add the comments here, and your code is not readable, whatever." Give all those without me doing anything. It just does it on its own, and they get an email and it appear on their Microsoft Teams with that. You can also evaluate handwriting. So this example here, solve this is one of my student papers. I just took a picture of it. It has 3 questions, programming questions. The student gave the answer by hand. And at some time, because of AI, the university decided to move into paper type of exam to do, but now we have other ways and tools to do that. But even if the student write it by hand, and you say, take a picture of it, grade it, and I have the grading rubric is there on the page on the top, it will go and grade and say, you detect mark here, you detect mark here, or this is thing like that. So that's something can be also done on the app to do. You can do this also on the PC or the browser version by taking a picture and uploading it there. So evaluation of student grade is something. Now the next thing is research. You can get it to do some preliminary researcher review for you, not the ChatGPT. I'll show you with other tools that connected to the publishers. It can help you with doing number of things related to the research. What you need to know, as I said, ChatGPT, outdated data, even the one from the web is outdated because it's not connected to the publishers. It's general web information. And it has limited ability to generate reliable references. It will give you references, but you go and check the reference, you will find this has nothing to do with this or doesn't exist. So it's like someone who can answer anything, even if it doesn't have the answers to do. And that's the concern the people who created Claude had with that one. And it's not really the right tool to use for research at the moment. It can help you summarize. If you have a research paper or you get a paper from someone and you want it to summarize it for you in a bulletin points or what are the key findings, yes, it will do that because it has the source with the paper there. But if you want it to do a research assistant type of thing, it will not do well. But the solution is OpenAI, they have their, you can call it like the app store of generative AI, which they call it the Explorer. Here, the publishers and companies themselves, and I'll show you in a minute, have created their own version of ChatGPT that reads from their actual research data. And let me jump here into ChatGPT and get you to see that. So I just will fix the page before, just bring this one down. I have just to move a few things from the screen. You don't see them, but I see them. They are related to Zoom. Now, when you get into ChatGPT, I'm using version 4. You will find here Explore GPT. I think, in my opinion, this is something that will make ChatGPT stands out from others. Microsoft is trying to do something similar, but this like what the impact the Apple App Store made on mobile phone. I think most of the achievement contributed to that app store. So people can now create their own apps, and you can use those apps that verified, reliable, and came from the store. And here there's so many apps, as you can see, in so many categories that you can use, including research assistant. So this company, Consensus, they have around 2 million academic papers here. So if I use this one and ask about any research-related things, it will go to those databases and publications and papers and give me the answer from there. So here, they give you some examples here. If you try these examples, it will go and do a literature, sort of a literature review using those publications, and it can answer specific questions. You have a hypothesis saying, if I eat, I'm making this one, if I eat tomatoes, I'll be stronger, whatever. Just put that one there, it will go and find the research that support this one or the research against this one. I'll tell you there's nothing related to that. So this coming from the publishers, actually, yeah. Okay. Now the issues now going between OpenAI and others on the copyright, but it's not related to this one. This one, the company itself decided to put their application there. Maybe later they will come and ask you for additional subscriptions to do that. At the moment, it's part of the OpenAI. I think there is a deal between them, but we'll find out later. Sometimes it's not easy to understand. Now, there's so many here, as I said, the things related to diagrams. You can, if you're teaching object-oriented again, you need to create UML diagram or class diagrams or use case diagram. You describe a problem and say, create it for me. It will build for you the class diagram. You want to do process modeling as well. You select the right app here. It will do that. You're using Canva, for example. You want to design a brochure or posters. You describe it. It will go Canva and create it for you. Of course, you need to have an account with Canva. If you click on it, it takes you there. I use Canva a lot. I love Canva more than PowerPoint, but still PowerPoint is amazing. UX design, if you are in that area, these are the different categories. And DALL-E, you're familiar, I'm sure, with DALL-E. You can draw pictures, you draw things by just say, draw me something with this, with that. You provide the context to do. The productivity tools, again, the diagramming, the PDF, and this all expanded here. So these are the, you can look at them sub ChatGPT apps that people created. You can create your own one if you want now. And here is where you create it. If you have the Pro, the paid version, you can create your own one by just clicking there, giving it a name, and describing what is that, and giving some instructions saying this is what you should answer, what you should not answer to do. And then you decide if it can generate images or not. And then you need to put some data for it there. So you need to upload some data and do things so it can use your data. And then you test it from here, see if it's working or not working. Once it's okay, then you can publish it to people. So we have one here about Abu Dhabi University, but I also have one on about Java programming I created for my student. So I have my own content, so student can come here. Again, you can create your own if you want, and you do. These are the things we have. Like this one, if I go there, it will answer admission, courses, credit, accreditation, ranking, whatever, about Abu Dhabi University. And the training is very simple. I just have a PDF file that has our catalog and has all this information, put it there, it learn it, and now start answering questions about it. And this is one thing, you can create your own version of it, and then you have the option, either you publish it, you keep it for yourself, or for people that you decide to share with, or you publish it to the store and they will review it and then release it to everyone to do. So these are the tools. Now people have a concern. Let's go back to the presentation. Here is our presentation. I hope I am okay with the time. I'll need another maybe 10 minutes, then we'll. Okay, so that's the GPT store. Now, what are the other things? You can have your own ChatGPT, you can call it, or you want to call it, on your machine. Even if we disconnect from the internet, you still can do almost the same thing, or many things you can do. And why you need this one? You need it because you don't want your data to go somewhere else. You need it to be processed on your computer. It doesn't go to OpenAI because you are maybe afraid they will use your data. Maybe you need it to run faster. You have a very powerful machine that you need to do. Or maybe you don't want to pay the $20 that you're paying to ChatGPT or others to do. Or maybe you need offline functionality, or within your premises or company. You don't want it to be done online. And you need maybe full control over the environment, or you need to customize it and optimize it. And maybe there's some regulations in your company that your data, or your company or country, that your data should not be used there. So how we do that? If you want to do that, it's very simple. There are two main providers. There are three ways to do it, in fact. One is you can use Python programming. You can download a model, and there are so many models around. I'll show you where you find them. You download it, you create a simple Python programming. ChatGPT will help you to create that one. And then you can have your own version of ChatGPT. Use the model that you downloaded from there. Or you use one of these two platforms, one called Jan.ai, the other one LM Studio, which you can use. Let me see if I have, I'll show you the Jan, I have both of them in the machine. Well, let me go to, this is the Jan, just for you to understand how this works. maybe you need it for other reason that you're doing research on this. You need to build your own model that you want to, want me to update. I'm not going to update. So this is basically the Jan.ai. Now, anything I do here, even if I don't have internet, it will work. And if I analyze my student data with their name, with their grade, with everything, nobody will, it's running on my machine. It's not connected to the net. It's not going to OpenAI. And I can use an API to read from this one. If I install a server in my company, it becomes my one. Now here you go there, you will find these models. Model is the algorithm there which trained on specific data. And there are many models here that you can download and you can try them. I think I need to update. These models, how powerful they are, it depends on the parameters. Like this one has 7 billion parameters, and it will require around 4 gig on your computer. So if you download it, you can use it. There's so many models from all the companies, and there's so many websites that you can get a model. And you can refine or tune an existing model by adding your own specific data to it and then using it. So this is one way. Those people who are, some of it I cannot run on this computer. Like this one have 33 billions. My computer doesn't have enough RAM to run this. This is a Mac Air 16 gig. I think I need more than that. It will tell you those you cannot run. The bigger the model, the larger the parameters. Well, before most of the thing you need, you'll find 7 billions parameters is good enough for you. And these are things that you can consider if you have concern about privacy, or in your organization, you want to give access to ChatGPT, worried about this big cost, and you will be using it to analyze your company data and things like that. Of course, it has limitations. It's not reading live data. It's trained on a model at some time, and from time to time, you need to download the updated model. As you noticed, when I started, it said to me, you need to update this one. They keep updating it, and you should be able to do that. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to do before I just conclude is, where is ChatGPT? We deleted it. Let's go back to ChatGPT. There are things on ChatGPT also you need to know. And when you get into little bit this one, yeah. Now here in the setting, one thing I would advise you to do is to go to your name, go to the setting, and tell ChatGPT, look at those different configuration. Now, if you don't want your data to be used to train others, you need to keep deleting all those chats from time to time. I think they give you certain time to do that. If you delete the chat, it will not do that. If you want to archive chat or not, you can manage that one, change it. You have some data control here. If you don't want any history, just to be trained, chat history can be, you remove this one, so it will not save your previous chat to do. There's some on the speech, you can select the person who will be talking, and also you have other things. You have also customized here. If you customize this one, you can tell ChatGPT more about you, who you are. So I said, I am the Vice Chancellor of Abu Dhabi University. This is interested in this and this and that. I do this one. And then I said, give me concise answers. And when appropriate, find the latest information. So by doing this instruction, you can add some of it, then it will be tailoring that. And the more you put about yourself without exposing your name and things like that, the more it will be able to help providing the answer to do. You still can do this when you provide the prompt and select the information you want to do, but this is an area you can do. If you don't want it to just come with any answer, give it these instructions, which I do because sometimes it gives me anything I want to do. And then you can build your own. We already spoke about that. Did I think, Sim, I lost my presentation. Here is it. Okay, so thank you. This is all from me, and I hope you find what we spoke about it useful, and I'm open for questions if you have questions.
Thank you so much, Professor Odhabi. This was such an eye-opening session. I mean, really, we learned a lot from this. And I'm sure everyone else who was part of this session, they have really learned so much from this session. So we move to the next phase, which is the Q&A. We will have students, in fact, the students and professors who already asked a couple of questions. You can also see them in your Q&A, and I think others, I don't know if others can see that, those participants, if they have access to that. So I would read that question first, but before that, I would also like to invite people to raise their hands and ask a question in person. So I have Preeti here, and I'm going to allow you to talk. I'm going to put you on the spotlight. And Preeti, please ask your question. I think she had some technical glitch. Meanwhile, I think we have Bachu Lakshmi. I'll allow her to talk.
Hello, sir. It was a wonderful need of the presentation. Well, my question is, as I'm a doctorate and for writing the research articles, for drawing the violence string box plot as well, NumPy Gaussian curves. So it has become a great hassle. Can you suggest any AI tool for easily representing the data in graphical format? Because all the NAS rated or Scopus index papers, they are only getting accepted because of these graphs. So kindly suggest any AI tools, sir.
Yeah, let me see if I find you just one example. I'll share screen a minute. Just I'm looking at the file that maybe. See, ChatGPT itself, if you're using version 4, it has amazing capability of analyzing data. I just want to find you a data that I am confident I can share here. Cells. I'm just searching for public data. I'll share screen in a second and show you the capability of ChatGPT. Where is my, here is it. Okay. Now I'll share screen. Yeah. Now I just went into finding some general data set about, for example, cells. I'm just taking an example of that. I think I download this one. I'm not sure if this is the right one that I have to get. But okay, there is an issue with that. But let's get something quickly. Just go here and do Copilot. I'm just moving between Copilot and Copilot is good in creating Excel file, okay? And let's assume we'll ask it to generate a CSV file, CSV file on sales data. Yeah. Yeah. I just want an example of a data. I don't have a data that I am confident to share with you, But just look at this. It will hopefully create CSV file with some sales data. It's not doing that. Yeah. I need a sample data set on cells. So if you have a data, just send it to me. What I'm trying to say, there is a plugin here on data analytics. You can say data, you search here, and you'll find something called data analytics, part of those plugins. And this will create all the visualization you need to do. In fact, it will take your data into the data processing, data analytics process by first understanding your data, telling you what are the component data, telling you if there are missing components, filling those missing components. You tell it, okay, I didn't have data here, it will do. And then you say, visualize this data for me. It will go and create the visuals for you. You decide what visuals you want to do. If you want it, it recommends for you. But if you're looking for a specific thing, it will do. So it's a very powerful one. Unfortunately, I don't have on this computer a sample data that I can show you. But my advice, go to this plugin and dump your data. What's important there, your data should be in a table format, which means you have to use Excel, and the first row should be the columns of your data. You cannot have a data that has some data at the beginning of the column. Basically, this is the process of most data analytics. If you use Tableau, you use Power BI or anything, the first column should be your column, the first row. Yeah, so you should be here. For example, this is the date, this is the amount of sale, this is the product, this is the region, this is whatever. There should be nothing above that one. If your data is formatted in a table format, then you can just dump them here, upload them here in this one, and say, analyze this data for me. If you have specific questions you're looking for, like in your research, you have certain hypotheses or group of people you want to do or things like that, you can ask those specific questions and ask it to create that one for you. And it's amazing, I have to say. So that's my advice to do, is use this tool to do that.
Wonderful. Let's take the next question. Professor Odhabi, can you see the questions in the Q&A?
Yeah, I was reading it.
Okay.
The first question I can see, we can see, okay, that's fine. As a student increasingly utilizing AI, there is a growing concern about potential disadvantage of extensive. Yes, of course, yeah. We said that one. If we just use it as replacement of us as a human being, that's wrong. That's not the intention of it. It is a tool to help us do better and do more and progress faster. But we should not use it instead of us. Otherwise, we'll just lose our capability. And also, we need to be ethical to tell people that we're using it. If I'm a student and used AI or generative AI, I have to declare it in my assignment. I said I used it here and there. This is the prompt I used. That was my objective of doing that. And before do that, I'll ask my faculty or instructor, I'm going to do it. This is the way I want to do it. Is that part of our ethical and academic integrity to do? Faculty have a different view. In my view, I wanted my student to take the full potential of that one, but I said I don't want them to make it replace them. I wanted to advance their learning through that one, get them to think critically and critique even the answers coming from ChatGPT and other tools, and they should show that they can make advanced progress than others when they're using such tool. And that's where it is, in my opinion. I have another question. I can see another one called, can you share this certificate? I think that you will do. Why has the recording stopped? How can...
I think it must be in the... Is it in the chat or in the Q&A, these questions?
These are the Q&A.
Okay.
Chat,
So,
I see only...
Just to make an announcement, everybody who has participated in this masterclass, you will receive your certificate for this masterclass in a day or two. Again, we use an automated AI tool to generate those certificates, and that's Canva actually, and automatically generates the certificates and it emails you. So you will receive that pretty soon in 24 to 48 hours after this masterclass. Professor Odhabi, in fact, I have one question here. Somebody is interested about talking about plagiarism, and which we want to know how we actually tackle with plagiarism using these tools. But before that, I have one question. You had a great display of how students, if they really want to excel and want to master and how to do better, how they can actually set up their goals, how they can actually set up actions, and ChatGPT and other tools are actually helping them do that. And there are so many other things that they can do during the semester, understand their subjects more, the interconnectivity of subjects and all of that. And then this also helps faculty members and teachers to create questions. For instance, MCQs and object-oriented questions, open-ended questions. My question is, if the students also generate the questions from ChatGPT, and the faculty member is also generating questions from ChatGPT, don't you think they would have most of the questions already available to them before the exam?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I think that's should not be the faculty when using ChatGPT should not blame the student why using ChatGPT and they're using ChatGPT. They write the questions and they need to have it at the right level of their standards. They need to modify it. They need to challenge the student. Now, the expectation from the student should be higher than the expectation before, because they have someone working with them there. I think the way we do assessment has to change as well. Questions that student can go there and put it in ChatGPT and find the answer are not the effective one anymore. These answers are there. We need to find a way to get the student to think and critique and add their own perspectives into these questions. And that's what we need to do. And I think we need to get more into questions that related to actual industry practices and actual industry work. And that need I think faculty changing and thinking of it, but many of them are worried about students using the technology, but without making the change. If we still fight, I keep saying this one, fight the enemy, who is now became very powerful, strong, has so many advanced weapons, and we still use the old technique to do, we will not win. We need to switch the teaching and look at it in a different way, that it's opportunity for us to move it to the...
Absolutely. Which means that we really have to reinvent our methods of assessments. And even if a student is going out and asking ChatGPT about questions on that subject, it's good. At least the student is making efforts to understand that subject better from the perspective of AI and getting a different perspective, which he or she may not have got in the classroom. But I think what's important is when you come up with these open-ended questions, when you come up with questions and exercises where students have to showcase the real learning from real situations, scenarios, and whatever that they've learned, they have to implement that. I think that's a real form of assessment. And like you said, all faculty members, every discipline around the world is evolving, and the assessments that we see in the future are also going to change so much. This other question that I have from one of the users. In fact, I would like to pull up somebody who can ask in person, and I think I'm going to do it with Mausa Javed Harzala.
Hello.
Yes,
Salam.
please.
Hi, Musa.
Hello, Doctor.
How are you?
Doctor, I have a question about the
Musa, by the way, one of my students, Musa.
Awesome. Great to have you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, Doctor, here too.
Awesome.
Doctor, I have a question about the locally integrated generative AI, the ones that are on the device and used offline. Is it possible to download the large amount of data that are on databases like Google and like OpenAI to our devices that could have a maximum of 1 tera? So like if we're offline, from where does these programs get the data to have the AI?
Yeah. Yeah, these models are already, they already have the data. Let me just quickly show the screen. As we said here, there's a hub here where this model bundled with the algorithm and with the data. For example, this model here, which the one here, yeah. This model has this one has 7 billion parameters and has a data that is already trained on it. Now, it's not like a tera. This is the maximum size of this one is 4 gigabyte. Of course, you will not be able to get the whole internet on your computer. That's cannot be done. But these are data that learned from the internet, from the data it's trained on, and created a model that's capable of answering many things. If you look at mine here, this one, if I now ask a question, give me 5 ideas to engage students in my class. Okay, and this is very general. I can say an object-oriented. It performed that. My machine is very slow because I don't have enough memory. But the same thing, if you ask the same question on ChatGPT, you will get similar answers. So it's capable of doing that because it trained on data. The data itself is not there, but the patterns and the connections between this data is in the model. The model becomes not data plus the model, it becomes the new knowledge. You can look at it this way, created through the training and the algorithm together. And that's what will be. It takes some time on my computer because my computer is not that powerful, but I need to get that. So you get me now. You don't expect you will download the whole internet. You will download someone. For example, if you look at me now, I'm a person who learn in this life from so many experience and so many knowledge I learn. But if you open my brain, not the specific information details, is my knowledge that I created based on that training to do. And the model becomes something like that. Otherwise, no way we will get a model that has the whole internet data plus the model, if you understand me. Thank you.
We have Nias. Was the next question. Nias, please go ahead.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. So thank you for the informative session. Actually, my question is, once we generate some content or a paragraph with this AI tool, so I think in the first instance itself, we can understand that's a AI generated content. So how can I humanize this content to convert the human language? Means to make it, it is not an generative. How can I transform that content?
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't get you clearly. There was some issues with the connections when we were talking.
Nias, first of all, I would like to know, are you a student or a professor or a faculty member?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm working in a university.
Okay.
So yeah, actually, I am from India. I'm working in a university. So while we are getting some, some content from the students itself, some mails or some anything, some some assignment or something, we will understand in the first instance it's a AI generated content, if it is even if it's a printed content also. So even the students don't know how to humanize this language. So can you
Nias, my question is, do you think it's going to be helpful to the students if they can actually humanize that content more? Or is it okay that the content is not so humanized, so it's good for faculty members to pick that this is actually AI generated content? So what's your
from the faculty side, it is advantage for the faculty. But if I'm thinking of the student side, I'm asking, is there any way to humanize this language?
Okay, so you got the question?
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, I think we should not help the student do that. There's so many tools around that they can paraphrase it and get it looks like a human one. But that's not what we should encourage the student to do. We should, as a faculty, I can't tell if it's ChatGPT or not by now. I think most of us can tell.
Yes.
There's a certain structure, there's certain terminology that you can expect ChatGPT will do. But there are tools you put it in, they will change it and rewrite it and give it back. For us as a faculty, we need to be more engaged with those students. For me, I don't like the idea, give them an assignment, they go and do it and come back. I will have a checkpoint and I can speak to them. I want them first to brainstorm the idea, what they want to do before. I will not give them the assignment, say, create a software to do that. No, I said, I need you to demonstrate this learning outcome. I want you to show me that you understand this. Specify to me what you want to do, why you want to do it, what problem it will solve. I think this is the switch we need to do nowadays. We are not the one who generate even the questions. We need to get them to think of the questions and think of the areas and the problems they need to solve. And we need to make it a process that iterative process between us and between our student. Not go home and do it and bring it back to me. That approach, I think, will be very difficult to do nowadays.
Okay, thank you.
We have the next question. I still don't know the name of the person. Real me, please go ahead and show us how real you are.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Please ask your question.
Sir, I would like to ask you about how to use AI tool for literature review purpose.
Okay, I'll answer that. But I'm just wondering now.
Hello?
Let me put you on mute.
Could you mute me? I'm wondering, just when you get the certificate, will they put your name as real me?
Yeah, even I was wondering that. We will have to figure that out. No, but I think we have them in the registrants as well, so we would pick it from there.
Okay. Yeah, there are a number of ways to answer that for literature review. One thing is to use what I did explain before through the plugins we do. We also at Abu Dhabi University have a contract with something called Site. Site is a company who work with the publishers and they digitize the literature, the papers or whatever. Let me see if I can log in with this one. Sorry. Now, Site is amazing one because they work with all those big publishers and they digitized the literature or publication. And they created an assistant. They call it research assistant. And the good thing about this research assistants, I think you can see it. Let me delete this one from, yeah, here is this assistant. It looks like ChatGPT, but this again, using publications there. And you can ask any hypothetical questions, like for example, how does the structure of protein affects its function? And what it will do now, it will go to all those publications, review them, and create a summary of them, and write for you the citations in that way. So, of course, it's your responsibility to go and verify this. And we link this one to our library. So if there is a full text there and we have access to it, the faculty will click, the paper will download for them, and they can go through that one. And when you get there, they give you more depth analysis. I just wanted to finish because some of the great things they have, like this publication, for example, is saying something. It's not really just that. It will tell you exactly what they said about that subject. In other citation, they'll say, oh, they cited this work, but what they actually said about that. And then they have some matrices here that tells you how many people agreed with it, disagree. This one do not have that many, but if you look at this one, maybe this paper, you see there are 14 citations. There are 3 agreed with that one, and you can go in depth with those publications. It will give you more details, and it will tell you this citation happened where. Is it in the introduction, or in the research finding, or it's in the conclusion, or it is somewhere else? You can see all those citations related to that. So tools like Cite, and there are others, there's something called Research Rocket, similar to this one. They are connected to the publishers. That's one thing. The other thing, you have the one in ChatGPT, as we said, there is a research assistance there. Many of them, not only the one we looked at it. If you click here, you'll find some of it are here in the research and analysis. These are companies who are connecting to the publishers and doing that. So these are the 2 things that can help you doing a preliminary research review, and at least narrow for you the publication that maybe you need to read and get some insight from.
I hope that answers the question. By the way, can we have your name, like real me? What's your real name? Can you hear us? Okay, no worries. I'm pulling up the next person. So before that, there is one question. Before I ask Jassim and Fareed to come up and ask their question, there's one question which is again a very important question. Professor Odhabi, you spoke about international trips. How will a foreign boot camp help me as a university student?
Can you repeat again? I missed
the question is, how will a foreign boot camp or an international trip, like how will us international exposure, going abroad, how it's going to help me as a university student?
Absolutely, yeah. It helps you in many things. One is, of course, as we said, you will get to know other cultures. We are in a global world. We don't know we will end up where at the end, where we'll be working, we'll be living. And it's important for us as well, even if we stay in our country, we need to know other cultures, because boundaries are now short. If I come with a company, for example, I need to know if my customers in India or China or Europe, how their lifestyle, what their needs, so I can get the opportunity to get that. The other thing you will get to know, go to areas, maybe the specialty that you're looking for, that university is leading in, and they are the best in that area. You'll get you opportunities to find jobs as well. We had students who came to us in Abu Dhabi University in the past from other countries, from Sweden, from other places, who spent a semester with us doing their capstone project to do, and they connected them to industry here in Abu Dhabi, and became an opportunity for them. One of them hired in the company and moved to the UAE, which was a great thing. So it's really this boot camp, even if they are short for a week or 2 weeks, they have so many advantage to the student. And the young generation, our Chancellor, Professor Ghassan, keeps saying, this is Generation Z. And Generation Z are different from at least my generation to do. They are more social, and they want to get heard, and they want to contribute to environment and sustainability and so many aspects to do. And such a boot camp will be a great opportunity for them to do that.
Wonderful. While we are on this, I would quickly take this opportunity to share a few things. So, like what Professor Odhabi talked about, we have really come up with some awesome boot camps. And you can go to Edorer and go to boot camps, and you can really plan this summer in some of the most amazing cities and countries. So use this time. Going abroad is probably one of the best things that can happen to you as a student. It really changes your life. When you come back, you are a different person altogether. What we are currently coming up with, we are coming up with boot camps in agriculture, for design, in AI and business analytics for MBA students, which is the hottest skill today, in AI and data science. So you can explore all of that. In fact, we have one in Dubai and Abu Dhabi as well. In fact, we are working with Abu Dhabi University and coming up with a boot camp in December this year. Feel free to explore all of these on our website, and we'll be happy to help you. Apart from that, a lot of people ask a few questions like, where do we get the video of these masterclasses? This is where you can find it. Go to Edorer, go to masterclasses, and you can see all the past masterclasses. When you click on watch recording, like in fact, this is yesterday's masterclass and the recording is already available. You click on this and you will have the video available to you. It is also available on our YouTube channel. So this is like yesterday's session. So feel free to do this. And Professor Odhabi's session, today's session and masterclass will also be available by tomorrow. So feel free to explore it and share it with your friends and colleagues. Okay, thank you so much for this. Going to the next question. I'm putting up Bhaskaran. Bhaskaran, please go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Bhaskaran.
Sir, now you explained very well about how this artificial intelligence will be very much useful for.
You're not really audible, Bhaskaran. Not really audible.
Yeah. Sir, this artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, it is very much useful for learning something in education industry. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. How this impact will be there for employment opportunities in business organizations?
Yeah, I think in business administration, I don't see it going to replace people who do that, because in business administration, mostly working with people. Yes, sometimes you work with the process, but you do the process to service people at the end. It may make the work more efficient by automating and getting some analytics of the data and speeding up the things. But I don't think it's going to replace human there. There are companies, like we said, Microsoft, they have finance module that help finance people, one for help with sales and recruitment and CRM type of a system. These are tools will help people. But if we as human do not upskill ourselves, we do a basic task that can be replaced, and where AI or machine or anything will do in the future, of course, companies at the end, they will want to make profit. Yeah, they want to excel in their business. They will prefer to have the machine to do it instead of human to do it. There's some companies have a moral responsibility. They think of human development, but others who just want to excel their business and they have the right to excel their business to some level. So we need to get our skill improved. We need to upskill ourselves. If we stay where we are, it will impact us on the long term, and you will find some people losing their jobs. So you need to start thinking what I can contribute better now. The AI maybe will do this task. What the next thing I need to do?
Thank you so much. I hope that answers your question, Pascal. Fareed, please go ahead. Thanks, Pascal. Fareed, you go ahead with the question, and I'm also pulling up Jassim. If Jassim allows me, if you want to ask.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
This is Fareed here.
Yes.
Good evening, Dr. Hamad.
Good evening.
I hope you know me.
Your name is familiar now. I'm just trying to remember. When I saw your name, I just started.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm attending your session from Tajikistan. So actually, the internet here is a bit lagging actually. So that's why I had to, on and off. I had to go exit and come back again and again. Sorry for that. And thank you, Saurabh, for answering my question for the session, because I missed most part of the session. But however, I had the opportunity to see a lot of tools that was demonstrated by Professor Hamad. And it's a great opportunity for anyone to learn from Professor Hamad. He has been quite an inspiring person in terms of sharing his knowledge and as a lifelong learner, which I really appreciate. And of course, it gets inspired not only for me, for others as well. Now, my question is as a researcher, you can find a lot of information and you can able to write a lot of articles. But however, that being said, on a shortest time range, you can able to do. You can able to write a lot of articles and publish them. But however, that being said, how would this tool be able to make a researcher to write an article on a Q1, Q2 level type of articles or journals, where your knowledge is being shared across the community, and this quality journals that you publish becomes a source of knowledge to others, and you share that knowledge across the world. This is one question from my side. The second question is if you are doing a research and you have a data, and that data is specific to a particular organization, let us say a government organization, and you are trying to analyze this data, and you find that the data that you get has some biases, some differences in your your end conclusion and your results. What do you suggest that as a researcher one should be doing, like in terms of publishing based on whatever the results one get, or using these tools, try to validate and see how best the one can able to assess based on the data analysis, and how best one can able to publish the work which is of quality, which is of greater quality than just publishing. Thank you very much.
These are excellent questions, Fareed. On the first one, I think these tools are limited, in my opinion, to help you with the literature review. Beyond the literature review, it can't. And your quality Q1 or Q2 journals, the quality will not be only on the literature review. The literature review is a small thing, part of it is the contribution you make. And it gives you a wider picture of what's going around, what others will do, because as a human, if I do a literature review, I will have a limit to reading 20, 30, 50 publications, but the tool can read for me larger number of publications and give me a summary of that. but now what I should do, what my research objective, what my research methodology, what are the contribution I'm making, the analytics, the finding I did, all those things, that becomes the quality of the paper. The research review is just, as we said, research review. So it's not going to help you getting Q1. What will help you getting Q1 and Q2 is what you do yourself as a human being. I think as a researcher, I think our objective is not the large number of publications. I think we need to create impactful publications. If you have a limited publications, say 3 or 4 in a year, and they get large number of citation and make huge impact, it's better than I have large number of publications, the people not really looking at it and not using it for their citations. The quantity is not important, the quality, as you said. And I really pleased that you're looking at Q1 and Q2, which the focus we try to do in Abu Dhabi University is to do on those publications. The other thing on the data, you looked at it. If the data you collected is from authority and government, and you find the data has some bias in it or some issues with it, I think you need maybe to look at the better data, or maybe speak to that company. We have an ethical here responsibility, is that what we put on these publications should be really the right thing, the correct thing, because people will decide on it, will put strategies on it, companies will build maybe solutions and products on that one. And we need to make sure the data is the right data. If it's not the right data, we should not continue the research, because we will mislead people. Yes, we'll get publication, but it's not the right thing. And as researchers, we should not engage in such activity. I hope I
Thank you, Dr. Hamad. Thank you so much for that, insightful information. Also, that of course it's very useful for me as well. Of course, impactful way of work and quality way of work always stands out, rather than having so many quantity of journals written and there's no impact on it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Farid.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Justin? And we will go for another 5 minutes before we wind up this session. And before that, I'm also going to roll out a poll. And meanwhile, all attendees can just try giving their responses to it. Go ahead, Justin, you can ask your question. Okay.
I think he has his own.
No worries, I think we can. So we also have a lot of students from the agriculture domain as part of this masterclass. One of the students is asking a question, how a horticulture, or let's say an agriculture student, use ChatGPT. Are you aware of any ways in which they can benefit from it? Of course, they can benefit like a regular student, but any take on this?
Sorry, sir, but I didn't hear it. It was cutting.
So the question is like, how can horticulture students or agriculture students benefit from ChatGPT? Was that clear? Can you hear me well?
Who is the student who asked that question?
This is Misbah Hassan. As a horticulture student, how can I use ChatGPT?
I'm having some audio issues. Maybe my mic. Do you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. So can you please repeat the questions?
Yeah, the question is like, just like engineering students can use AI and ChatGPT for coding and whatnot.
Yeah.
MBA students can use it. Is there a way it can help agriculture students as well? Horticulture?
Yes. Yeah, I think it should, but agriculture is something far from my expertise, but I would expect it should help advise on agriculture's type of see, you can see that I'm not in agriculture at all, but I'm sure you need just to verify the data. I can't tell engineering coding if the data is right, is the thing you need to do, but I will not be able to know in agriculture if that data is really the right thing you're getting from there. So I just make sure you use maybe sources where it's more authentic. If there are any of the apps there in the App Store or in the Explorer that related to agriculture, maybe use them. And maybe next time you come and tell us about how agriculture can benefit from AI. But for sure, in terms of the technology itself, AI can analyze lots of data related to agriculture. If you create certain models that needed to follow and verify and get you insight, it will do that. But for learning, I'm not sure. That's not my area.
Okay, I think as a student, and irrespective of which stream you are from, you can see that AI and ChatGPT can actually help you with everything, right from goal setting to actions to finding more, actionable items that you can have of better understanding the subject. You can also use, and I'm sure even in agriculture or horticulture, there are multiple parameters that you actually take care of while researching, developing your own data set and whatnot. And I'm sure AI can definitely help. What I would suggest is when you go to open AI account, you can actually look for tools. And I'm sure there could be some tools or some custom apps which might have been generated for you. And you can really dig it out. That's the benefit. So one last question. Jasim, you want to go ahead? Otherwise, I will just take it one last question from the Q&A. Professor Odhabi, do you find any question? You find something interesting in the Q&A? Otherwise, I can just pick one.
Yeah, pick one. I think
something that we have not covered, I guess. How far should AI go with disrupting human brain? That's a very generic question. How quickly will AI developments accelerate?
Reading those questions. Plagiarism and
how does
Okay,
I think we can take the last question. Professor, can you suggest an AI tool that can help us in curriculum development, specifically for competency-based curriculum?
Yeah. I have another session I did for the faculty on, we have a certificate we're running called AI Enhanced Teaching and Learning. And one modules on that one is using generative AI to help with curriculum development. And ChatGPT itself can do lots of things, but you need to, the curriculum means what? You have a program that has objectives. You need to think student when they graduate, what sort of skills, knowledge, and competencies they will have. And if you identify those things, you can ask ChatGPT to draft structures for that to do. You can get it to look at industry competencies that are required as well to complement what you already find yourself. And you can get into even the details of syllabi, learning outcome, prerequisite, structures of delivery week by week to do. It can help you with the curriculum. In our terminology in academy, when you say curriculum, it's not the teaching material, it is more the design, the program, the learning outcome, the course syllabi, the assessment, teaching method, and things like that. It can help faculty and speed up things and bring industry standards. For example, if I'm introducing a program on cybersecurity, I want this program at the end to be accredited by ABIT. So I can use ABIT student learning outcome as a guidance to the way I structured the program. And ChatGPT trained on massive data, including ABIT student outcome. If it's not, I can go to the ABIT and bring those ABIT standards and put them there. See, this is the ABIT standards. I need to make sure this curriculum is addressing all those different student outcomes in that standard. It can help you a lot with creating a solid, coherent, industry relevant, and modern curriculum.
Wonderful. I think with that, we come to the end of this session, this masterclass. It was really a pleasure hosting you, sir. I think there's so many questions. How do these people connect with you, Professor Odhabi, if they have to?
I think they can find me on LinkedIn, the easiest way.
Okay.
And you can send me any questions through LinkedIn.
Okay, so you can connect with Professor Odhabi on LinkedIn, tag him in any post that you make about this masterclass or otherwise, and he'll be happy to connect with you and ask you questions. He's very active on LinkedIn, by the way. So please do go ahead and do send him a request to connect. So thank you everyone for being such a lovely audience for this masterclass as always. You will be receiving your certificates in a day or two, like you said. And also the video recording of the session is going to be available on edorer.com/masterclasses. And thank you so much, Professor Odhabi, for gracing us with your presence. And we really look forward to more and more sessions, not just for students, but for faculty members and even others as well in the future. And a lot of us really look forward to visiting your campus very soon.
Yes, wish to see you here. Thank you very much for your time and for the invitation and for the audience for participation.
Thank you so much, sir.